and welcome to episode 48 of Book Writing Tips, Quick Tips for New and Seasoned Authors, and I am your host, Alba Arango. In today's episode, I'm actually going to stray from my original topic, which was going to be about writing contests and writing opportunities for new and upcoming and seasoned authors. And instead, I realized that it is exactly 1 month away from the Las Vegas Writers Conference, which I am going to be a faculty member of. So if you ever wanted to see me in person, actually presenting not just on podcasting, but on writing for the children's market, then please consider joining us at the Las Vegas Writers Conference at the end of April. And I will put a link to the Las Vegas Writers Conference in the description, and that way you can go to it and take a look at the very cool, not only faculty, but sessions that they're going to have, and they're going to have agents that you can pitch to. It's just going to be an amazing time. So what I decided to do this week is to actually repost an episode I had done earlier on the importance of actually attending a writer's conference, whether you're a newbie author and you're just starting out, or a seasoned author who is actually looking for more opportunities and a place to learn. Do consider attending a writer's conference, and I'm going to talk about in this episode all the different advantages of attending a writer's conference. So with no further ado, I am going to repost episode 19 and what I consider to be important reasons for attending a writer's conference. So sit back, relax, and hopefully I will see you next month at the Las Vegas Writers Conference. Alright, so today's session will be in 2 parts as usual. In the first part, I want to talk about why I think writers' conferences are so important for new and unpublished authors. And then in part 2, I want to talk about why I think they're even more important, possibly, for seasoned authors. So let's get right down to it. Why are writers' conferences so important for new and unpublished authors? If you Google writers' conferences, you're going to get like a gazillion different places to go. And any writers' conference you look at, they're all going to have sessions about writing. And some of the ones that I've attended and some of the ones I have seen are as such. They talk about world building. Well, if you're writing fantasy or sci-fi, building a world is crucial. It's something that your readers are going to expect, and any agent or publisher is going to be looking at how well you are crafting the world around you. Because it's not our world. It's not the world we live in. You are crafting a completely different world. So there are a lot of elements that you need to cover that readers expect and that agents and publishers are looking for. So attending a writing for world building would be essential if you are writing sci-fi or fantasy. But there's a lot of them. I've attended one that's literally like how to write an effective fight scene. Well, if you're going to have any kind of fight scene, if you're doing action or thriller, that's an important thing to do because there's actually different ways to write effective fight scenes. And as a reader, you oftentimes don't even notice that the author has like shifted gears in their writing for writing that fight scene, but they have, because fight scenes are written differently than the rest of the book. And there's sessions about developing characters, so your characters are not 2-dimensional, they're 3-dimensional, about crafting great villains, about scenes between protagonist and antagonist, about love interests, and even more specific, if you really want to, you can attend a writer's conference that's completely specific to your genre. So like the Romance Writers of America, they have their own conferences. And so everything about them is going to be focused on writing romance. I know the sci-fi and mystery writers, they have their own conference as well. The Society for Children Book Writers and Illustrators, they have their own conference where everything is centered on writing children's book. So these are fantastic conferences. I'm just going to warn you, these very specific genre conferences can be a little pricey. So if money is an issue, that is definitely something you want to consider. It might be beneficial to look at something that's a little more closer to home, something that's a little more in your price range. Like Writer's Digest has a lot of conferences that are literally 1 day. And oftentimes they're only $99. And there's even agents there. So you've got a lot of advantages to going to these quick 1-day conferences if that's in your budget. Which actually does bring me to my next topic, which is self versus traditional publishing. Which one are you going to do? Well, if you're a new and unseasoned author and you haven't published yet, you might still be debating. And a lot of conferences are going to offer you both. They're going to offer, agents talking about the importance of agents, and they're going to talk about self-publishing as well. So if you aren't sure yet, attending a conference might give you some insight into those two aspects of publishing. If you have decided to go the traditional route, then one good thing about conferences is every conference I have ever been to have pitch sessions with agents. Now, depending on the conference, I know the Las Vegas conference here in Vegas, that's actually included in the price of the conference, which is really, really nice. But those $99 one-day conferences by Writer's Digest, they do charge $29 for each pitch session you want to go to. But you can actually choose which agents you want to pitch to, and they give you the opportunity to also go online, and they have agents that will actually, you can pitch to online as well. So, but they do charge $29 for each one you pitch to, but this is an opportunity you would not normally get. So regardless of what writers conference you choose to go to, they will most likely have agents that you can pitch your book to. Most of the time they do want completed manuscripts. So this is going to be more for when you are finishing revising your manuscript and it's pretty much ready to go. Unless, of course, you are writing nonfiction, in which case they would like to see a book proposal, which means they don't want the completed manuscript. They want to see what you got going on, your idea, and possibly a sample chapter. So there you go. Those are all, I think, outstanding reasons why, if you are a new or unpublished author, why you might want to look into attending a conference. Again, just Google writers conferences. You can Google them for 2026 and then maybe start making payments now if the price is a little out of your price range, or maybe you can find some still in 2025. Whatever you do, I would advise looking at several of them and then looking at the sessions they are offering to find the one that is going to be most beneficial for you. Now, before I get into why I think writers' conferences are important for seasoned authors, by the way, if you're a new author, you might want to stick around and listen to why I think it's good for seasoned authors as well. But before we get into that, it's time for the crazy law / writing prompt. Every week, I give you a writing challenge, a writing prompt that it was a law in history, and the challenge is to write a story around that law. It's not anything that, is going to be published, or maybe it is. Maybe you decide it's so good you want to publish it. But this is a way to flex those writing muscles, maybe deter you for a moment away from your work in progress, just to give you a little bit of a challenge. So here we go. Today's writing prompt is this. There's a town in New Mexico where it is illegal to tear up a marriage license. Oh my goodness, my romance authors, I'm sure that you guys can come up with 1,000 different stories for this. And even my sci-fi authors, there might be your catalyst to why this whole sci-fi adventure started. Anyways, there you go. That's your prompt for the week. But now let's move on to part 2, why I think writers' conferences are so important for seasoned authors. First of all, like I told you, I have been attending writers' conferences since 2008, and I still attend them. I went to the Las Vegas Writers' Conference just a few months ago, and it was phenomenal. So much so, of course, I've been attending that conference every year since 2008. Every year they've had it in person, and they haven't put up the schedule for next year, 2006 yet, but I am going to give you a little bit of a heads up. They did ask me to actually be on the faculty. So I will be on the faculty for the Las Vegas Writers Conference in 2026. So of course, I will give a link to that in my description below. But there are so many writers' conferences all over the country. So something close to home might be more money-wise accessible for you because you may have to pay for, a hotel as well. But if you can find something closer to home, that may cover that expense. So put all these things in mind. But why I think writers' conferences are so helpful for seasoned authors. I will start with the whole self-publishing versus traditional publishing. At every conference I attend, there's always self-published authors that are there looking for agents. And I get it. You're a self-publisher. Now you want to do the traditional route. And this is a wonderful place to launch that because there's going to be agents there that are looking for new authors that haven't been traditionally published yet. Also, I have also encountered traditionally published authors that, hey, now they're thinking with this new project, they're going to do the self-publishing route because you can make a lot more money. And if they've already got a following, that might be a great way for them to launch a new book. And, I've already got a following, and now they're going to do the self-publishing route. And this is a great avenue to learn all the things you need to know to become a self-published author. So there's that whole thing. But whether you are self-published and plan to stay self-published or look for new, or you're traditional published and you plan to now do self-publishing or stay with traditional publishing, there's a lot to still learn at a writer's conference. And I'm going to give you the biggest one right now, and that is marketing. Marketing is one of those things, doesn't matter if you're self-published or traditional published, that is one of the things that falls on your shoulders. Even traditionally published, big publishing houses, they will help market your book oftentimes for a month. And then after that, it's all on you because they have other authors that they are now going to try to push next month. So marketing comes on your shoulders. And every conference I have been to, even going back to 2008, marketing is always on the schedule because every author, whether you are new, seasoned, self-published, traditional published, you have to market your books. So they will always have ways to market your books. Now, following along with that, there's usually something about social media, sometimes even as specific as an entire session based just on TikTok. So if you are on TikTok, the book industry, selling your books, that is a great avenue for that. I will tell you, I had a TikTok for a few years until it was hacked a few months ago. And I literally cannot get into my TikTok account anymore. And finally, after a few months of going back and forth with TikTok, I gave up on it. I was like, forget it. I'm just going to, put TikTok to the side. And I literally just last week decided to restart my TikTok. So if you are on TikTok, give me a follow. I am at albarango007. I will put a link to that in the description as well. But TikTok is a great place to market your book if you are an author, whether self-published or traditional. So a lot of times you will see TikTok on the schedule for different sessions at writers' conferences. Other places or other sessions that you might look into. A lot of times I see trends. And this is if you are traditionally published and you're kind of looking at where you want to take your next book, sometimes you will see sessions about trends. What's trending now? What's trending now in YA? What's trending now in sci-fi? Another thing, podcasting. Now, literally, when I was at the Writers' Conference in 2005 here in Vegas, they had a session on podcasting, and that is actually where I got the idea for this podcast. What I'm telling you, you can always learn something new at Writers' Conferences, no matter how seasoned of an author you are. Author websites, something every author is going to need to have at some point, whether it's at the, they're in the beginning stages, or if you're a seasoned author and you don't have a website yet, you really need to think about getting a website. Even if all you have is, evergreen, stagnant stuff on there, you need to have some place where people Google your name and they can go to your website. And a lot of authors' conferences focus on just author websites and what you should put on there. So again, whether you are a young author just starting out or a seasoned author, writers' conferences have things for everyone. And the wonderful thing about it is that you can Google them and find out what the panels are going to be, what sessions they are going to have to see if this is something you want to invest your money in, or look for a different one. That's the glory of the internet, is you have all of that information available to you to make an informed decision as to which writers' conference you want to attend. All right, that's it for this week. Please give this a like and make sure to subscribe if you haven't subscribed yet. Remember, I drop a new episode every Wednesday, and I will see you all next week.